Happy Friday, everybody. It's your man, Sean Hubbard, once again here for another episode of Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. Really happy to have you guys here. It is Friday, July 18th, and this is HUBBanomics, man. Big shout out to everybody who is in the chat, on their way to the chat. This is volume 32 of the thing that I like to call HUBBanomics, man. Big shout out to everybody out there on the highways and byways, man, driving home from work, driving home from school, man. It's been a long week, but I'm happy to be with you guys to discuss the latest and greatest in pro wrestling. Once again, my name is Sean Hubbard. This is Hubbard Wrestling Weekly, and this is the little thing I like to call HUBBanomics right here on HWW, man. Big shout out to everybody who watches Clash of the Podcast each and every Monday night. Make sure you tune in to see myself and Conrad Cushman as we bring you the latest and greatest in the world of professional wrestling, both in and out of mainstream, man. We're really happy to have you guys here as we discuss the upcoming pay-per-view season, man. Pay-per-view season is in full effect for this summer. This Sunday night, we have TNA Slamversary available on Triller TV. Make sure you go to check out Triller TV, man. We appreciate. Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm going to turn it up right now. Appreciate you so much. Happy to have you here. Let me know if that improved it a little bit. Very fired up for this episode. Clown is in the building. Jocelyn's in the building. Hopefully more will show up, man. We talked a little bit earlier in the week about Slamversary on Clash of the Podcast, man. We want to keep it going. But make sure you go to Triller TV and subscribe and make sure that you're ready to rock and roll to get that pay-per-view as we are ready for a very, very interesting pay-per-view this Saturday night, or Sunday night, I should say, live on Triller TV, man. Let's talk to the chat right quick, man. Clown1334 Tweezy in the building. Good afternoon, everyone. Positive thoughts and prayers to the Buck Bagwell. There's no question about that, man. He's going through quite an ordeal. Believe he had a surgery that was pretty unfortunate, related to a accident that took place a couple of years back, man. Prayers to him and his family. We hope he gets better soon. Jocelyn, give me a heads up about the microphone. I appreciate that, Jocelyn. Welcome to the show. And of course, the one and only Quills in the building, Sir Quills to be exact, says, "What's going on, your boy? What's going on, Hubs? Just your boy Sir Quills is here to enjoy my bro, the great Sean Hubbard, for another dope edition of HUBBanomics. Hashtag HWW. Hashtag HUBBanomics, man. I appreciate that, man. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, man. It's an uphill battle, but we're doing the best we can. A couple of people have reached out to me and said they wanted to know how to get a super chat in. You can do that right here. You can see it on the left-hand side of the screen. You can super chat by going through Cash App, HubbWWeekly. Appreciate anybody who wants to contribute. If not, we're just happy for you to be here, period. It's not mandatory, but I got a lot of questions about super chat, and that's how you can do it right here through Cash App. And I will definitely get the notifications, and your comments will jump the line. So with that being said, man, it's really an exciting time in the world of professional wrestling. Things definitely start to kick up around SummerSlam season. And, we appreciate everybody, man, who is here. Let's keep it going. All love from Jocelyn. She says, all love. I'm here lounging when I have time. No doubt. I appreciate that. Clown says, so it turns out Bad Bunny debut was in a tag team match. Him and Priest versus Morrison and Miz at a Big Four WrestleMania. So no more hate on Jelly debuting a Big Four. Nobody's hating. I just don't think it's a SummerSlam worthy match. I didn't think that Bad Bunny was a worthy match, but at the same time, Bad Bunny shocked the world. Now, if Bad Bunny can do it, then so can Jelly Roll. Maybe Jelly Roll will impress me. You know what I'm saying? I have nothing against Jelly Roll. Nobody's hating. Just throwing out my opinion. MJB in the place to be. Welcome. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you so much. And yes, Easy E, this is most definitely live, my G. I appreciate that. Speedy Covery indeed to buff the stuff bad well. So let's get right into this. I know we talked about this on Clash of the Podcast last Monday night, but I definitely wanted to revisit this upcoming card, Slamversary, coming up this Sunday, man. Let's run down the line, man. And also, there's been a really big elephant in the room. If you look at the top left-hand corner of this chat, top left-hand corner of this presentation here on HUBBanomics, you see that AJ Styles will be in the building for Slamversary. Now, here's the thing. When you go down the annals of time when it comes to TNA wrestling, there is no question that one of the biggest features or biggest people in the history of that company is AJ Styles. Since joining WWE, I believe AJ Styles has had two appearances And you know, it was one of those things where it was just kind of like via satellite kind of a deal. But I'm telling you right now, man, I'm really excited about the possibility of AJ Styles. This is something that we didn't even have at Clash of the Podcast on Monday. This is a brand new development. So what I want you to do right now is go to trillertv.com and order this show because AJ Styles is going to be in the building. Now, the question to me is, and I want to ask the chat as well, what exactly do you think AJ Styles will contribute to this pay-per-view? Now, I'm going to go all out, and I'm going to say I think that he's going to get involved in the main event. How he gets involved in the main event, I don't know. Will he come out during the match? Will he have some kind of interference in the match? Will he make a comment after the match? Now, here's the thing about the relationship between TNA and WWE. Now, this is what surprised me. Easy, tell me more about I don't know what you're talking about. Tell me more about the AJ Styles. I think you're talking about the AJ Styles where he's, you know, the gear that you saw in the treasure chest. Let me know what you're talking about. He says that it was corny, a big promo. My thing is this. This relationship between TNA and WWE has been completely one-sided thus far. Completely and totally one-sided thus far. There's no question, there is no doubt that WWE has gotten the better end of this entire situation. They have come out on top in every conceivable way. I've said it from day one. It has continued to be a one-sided affair as it relates to TNA and WWE. Yes, TNA has had some better viewership. Yes, TNA has had some more fans come to their arenas. But as it relates to the upliftment of their talent, WWE has continued to put their stars on top, specifically NXT stars. Have any doubt about that? Well, Trick Williams is the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He is not the TNA Developmental Champion. Not that there is one. I'm just making a point to be funny. But he is the current TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and he's currently a wrestler on the WWE's developmental product. Now, if you think about that, it's a slap in the face. If you think about that, it's something that should be taken a little bit disrespectfully, in my opinion, because how in the world can you sit up here and tell me that WWE is being respected or being respectful of TNA when it seems to me that TNA only gets scraps from WWE while all WWE is getting are big-time stars from TNA. Now, it may be a matter of conjecture of whether or not you consider TNA to have big stars, but I think big stars are Santana. I think big stars are Slamovich. I think big stars are Moose. I think big stars are the foundation of TNA. And those are the people that are showing up, not Moose, but those are the people that are well, actually Moose too. Those are the people that are showing up on WWE television. Now, who has WWE sent over to TNA? You might hear some names that have come up. I mean, I think you've seen JC Jane over there or something like that, but it's nothing mind-boggling, which brings me to this point right here. And this is a question I have for the chat, and I've been thinking about this a lot all day. Has WWE finally decided to play fair? Has WWE finally decided to play fair? Because to me, there is no way that I would have ever predicted that WWE would allow AJ Styles to appear on TNA Slamversary. That actually sounds like WWE is starting to play fair. Now, do I believe WWE plays fair? I don't. Do I believe that WWE is up to something? I do. Do I believe that WWE is going to find a way to come out on top? I certainly do. And do I feel like at the end of the day, once again, TNA is going to get the short end of the stick? Absolutely. But on the surface, guys, this AJ Styles announcement comes across like WWE might finally be doing something to help TNA. I mean, this is AJ Styles. This is the man that I consider to be the next Intercontinental Champion. So it is, I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit exciting. It's a little bit exciting to hear that AJ Styles is going to be in the building on Sunday night. I did not see that coming. Clown130 says, is it live or will you put a stone cold and end the show stunning one of us? Nobody's getting stunned, man. MJB says probably a promo or something else. I'm telling he's going to be there, I think. I could be wrong. The Hall of Fame, logic, that could be true, but I have a feeling that's going to happen. Easy E says, yeah, I think that's what he's going to do at TNA on Long Island. Okay. And Leezy says, good evening, everyone. Don't worry about being late, man. I appreciate you being here, man. Quill's in the building once again. He says, hopefully TNA Slamversary will be a good pay-per-view, but I'm not keeping my hopes up just due to the fact that TNA clearly has not been the same since the wrongful, foolish departures of Scott D'Amore and Gail Kim. 100% accurate on that. Always on top of your game, Quills. Clown says, more likely announced for TNA Hall of Fame. Better ending, he pulls a Hulk Hogan at the end of Yokozuna versus Brett. Walks out after Santana and Joe get screwed, challenges Trick for the title and wins. Wow, you're talking about on some WrestleMania 9 swag? Oh my goodness. Clown saying what's up to Matt. Easy E says WWE making it out like bandits. But I'm not surprised. But I'm surprised they have damn near filled up USB Arena. That's true. This is going to be a success for TNA. No question about that. I'm just saying, are they going to win in the long run? Easy E goes on to say, quote, you're on par with our development. Exactly. It's a slap in the face. M. Leezy says, that's why I have no faith Masha is going to win the NXT Women's Championship. WWE needs to show their dominance. They always do, unfairly so. Easy E calls it WWE NXT TNA. Facts. Clown130 says TNA is ECW. They get Matt Bourne and Al Snow, and WWE gets RVD. Wow, that's a tremendously accurate comparison. I agree with that completely. Clown says fair will be if Masha wins on Sunday. That's why I'm predicting that she won't. I believe JC Jane is going to win the title. It really makes me sick, but I believe JC Jane is going to walk out with both belts. And Leezy Fashizi says, this WWE TNA partnership has helped WWE more. Yes, TNA getting more exposure on a bigger platform, and their attendance has shown, but WWE is wooing these big TNA names to come over. That's the key. That's the key, and that was going to be my next point. Big shout out to M. Leezy, the social media correspondent for Clash of the Podcast, HUBBanomics, and EPW. Listen, man. Listen. For anybody who says, hey, TNA is getting over because TNA is having more fans come to their shows. TNA is getting over because TNA is getting more viewership on their weekly television. TNA is getting over because TNA is getting more buys for their pay-per-view. TNA is not getting over because all while those things might be true, WWE are having conversations with the TNA people. And while they have conversations with the TNA people, please believe, ladies and gentlemen, that if TNA and WWE continue to work together, it's going to be more and more of TNA losing their stars to World Wrestling Entertainment. It's going to be more and more of backstage stuff for those young people out there. I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, so I have the benefit of both generations, right? Back in the day when I was real little, I had to read about it and watch DVDs about it later on in life, right? AWA, the Vern Gagne promotion, went into business with Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett, I believe it was, organization for a super show. It was called Super Clash. The main event for the WCCW Championship was Jerry the King Lawler versus Kerry Von Erich. Now, back in those days, obviously there was no social media. Things were a lot different back then. But the problem and the reason why it didn't work is because one organization, while they were working together, air quote, working together, they were trying to poach each other's talent. They were trying to poach each other's talent while working together. Let that sink in. Back in the 80s, they tried to have a big show to go up against WrestleMania and all the success that WWE was having. And they went into business together to put on this something called a Super Clash. And while working together, the owners of each organization were trying to steal each other's talent. Now, fast forward 40 years, and you talk about WWE and TNA going into business, quote unquote, together. Now, you might say, Sean, well, if WWE has a chance to poach TNA talent, doesn't TNA have a chance to poach WWE talent? Bruh. Ain't no way that it's the same thing. Technically, it's true. TNA has just as much opportunity to poach WWE talent as WWE has a chance to poach TNA talent. But do you really think that's what's happening? Do you really think this is anything more than a one-way street? Do you really think this is in any way, shape, or form, benefiting anyone but World Wrestling Entertainment in the long run? Again, in the long run. In the long run. Yes, in the short run, TNA's getting more pay-per-view buys. In the short run, TNA's getting more live attendance. But in the long run, you think TNA's coming out on top of this partnership? I don't think so. I do not think so. There is no way that anyone could possibly believe that TNA is getting over in this situation. Plain and simple. I wish it was not the case. I wish it was the other way around. I wish it was more of a two-way street, but that's simply not true. That is simply not true. And it would be foolish to think anything otherwise. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. And at the end of the day, when you think about that, and when you think about the way WWE has run its business and done its standards and practices, all you got to think about and look at is how they've conducted themselves in such a disrespectful and petty way as it relates to AEW and running shows on the same day as AEW. Need I say more? I could, but I don't have to. Let's get back into the chat and talk more about what's going on here. Basically, we're going to go straight from here from MJB in the place to be. He says, Hunter doesn't strike me as a fair guy. He certainly doesn't strike me as a fair guy. Quill says, WWE has sent nothing but third and fourth string bench warmers to TNA. Let's be real about it, because TNA will now and continue to be WWE's little bro. And by the way, Quills, God bless you for using the word bro, because there's another B word that came to my mind. Easy E says, AJ Styles hasn't been relevant on WWE TV in years. He's always been the bridesmaid, up for a title match, never winning. He's off TV for 5 months. Fair enough, but it is the most generous thing WWE has done for TNA since this partnership began. That is true. And I believe AJ Styles is going to be the next Intercontinental Champion, Easy E. You can let me know if you disagree. Emily Z. Fashizi says, yes, the fact AJ Styles being allowed to come to TNA is a big deal. But it's because besides the IC title feud, they don't have any real plans for him. That's true. JJ says, will AJ win for him showing at TNA or just an appearance? I think AJ is going to get involved physically. As a matter of fact, Jocelyn in chat, I'm saying AJ Styles is going to get involved physically because it would be a bigger slap in the face if he didn't. Think about this. They did this big vignette, this big promo for AJ Styles returning to TNA at Slamversary on July 20th. Imagine if it's just for him to appear via satellite. Oh, my God. Imagine it's just for him to appear via satellite? Bro, are you kidding? That better not be the case. That better not be the case. You want to talk about a slap in the face? He better get in that ring. He better punch somebody in the mouth. MJB says WWE drags their feet and backside, 100%. Matt Lopez says, I have a feeling there's a chance they pull a WrestleMania 9. You're not the first person to say that. Clown said that too, M. Leezy. Pull a WrestleMania 9 of AJ Styles win the TNA World title. My God. My God. Easy E says WrestleMania 9. Who is about to lose to Salt? Ha ha! You remember that line I threw out there. He got beat by Salt. MJB said, did TNA need WWE? Question mark. Guess Scott thought so. There you go. Jocelyn says, I'm a year and some change since TNA stopped their weekly YouTube. I have Slamversary ordered, so I'll be impartial, but not hopeful that'll be what I used to watch. It's not going to be what you used to watch. It's going to be a halfway decent show. I'm excited about the ladder match. I'm excited about the main event, but it won't be what you used to watch. We're a long way from Six Sides of Steel and, you know, Elix Skipper coming off the top of the cage. We're a long way removed from that, man. Clown says it's exactly what happened to ECW. WWE gave them money to stay afloat, to poach their talent first. That's exactly what it was, an underhanded tactic. Clown, I agree. Emily says the TNA president during media for Sunday pay-per-view did tease there's a possibility that WWE could buy TNA in the future. That's TNA's future, to be WWE's you know what. Jocelyn says TNA will always have a place by they've got yet to compete in quotes, that is, and prove they can handle primetime viewing without WWE. That's a fizz-act. That's a fact. TNA is halfway decent, but you're right. They can't compete on that level. Emily says, I remember that Superclass story watching the AWA documentary. Yes, sir. Joe Compton in the building. Yo, thank you so much for being here, Joe. God bless you, man. Welcome to the show. We're talking TNA Slamversary on Chilla TV this weekend, and we're talking Seth Rollins. That big Seth Rollins conversation is coming up because I got some theories for y'all. I got some theories. Oh, my. Clown 13 says TNA can poach if you're willing to take a pay cut and supplement your income doing indie. little sarcasm by Clown answering my question about can TNA poach WWE talent. Yeah, they can poach if they don't mind taking a pay cut. I feel you on that, exactly. Easy E says that's like public access poaching Conan O'Brien. Good analogy. Leezy says, I believe if Trick Williams retains, they might have AJ Styles face him for the TNA title. Good point. And that makes it even worse, Leezy. Think about that. I love what you're saying, because not only will they have Trick Williams defeat TNA guys again, but then the only way that Trick Williams is going to lose is to another WWE guy. Yet another slap in the face. Sir Quill says, if AJ Styles shows up via satellite for TNA Slamversary, forget epitome of incompetence. This will be the personification of ineptitude. I love the vernacular, my friend. M. Leezy says TNA needs to show they can keep their attendance growth without having NXT stars on the show. I don't know if they can do that, but the bottom line is the WWE knows they can't do that right now, which is why they're making them their child. I'll leave it at that. Let's get into the predictions of the show. Again, I had my predictions on Clash of the Podcast. I admit some of my predictions have changed. Let's get into it once again this Sunday night on Triller TV, Slamversary 2025, represented coming out from TNA, and you might as well say NXT as well. Jake Something, Steve Macklin, and Mance Warner versus Zillify 2, Real One, and Josh Bishop on the pre-show. I'm going to say any team with Zillify 2 is going to be victorious. That's kind of where I'm at with it right now. There's no doubt for me that team is going to win. The 6-man tag, that's where I'm at with it right now. I'm just going to roll with Zillify 2 with the Real One and Josh Bishop. The Elegance brand, Ash by Elegance, and Heather by Elegance, with M by Elegance, and the personal concierge versus the inspiration for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. First of all, give me a yes or a no on what I'm about to say. TNA, stop calling the women's titles the knockout titles. Just call them the Women's Tag Team Championship. Let me know what you think. Ash by Elegance. I'm going with the inspiration, the former Iconics. I think they're going to win the titles. I think they've been brought back for that reason. Now the main card. The main card is going to be as such. Okay, guys, we're going to have the Dark State going up against the System. I don't see there being any way that the System loses this match. I love that comment, Clown. Zilla is basically doing a tryout for WWE. Exactly. The woman that shall remain nameless, I'm not going to say her name. I just refuse to say her name, versus Indy Hartwell. I'm going with Indy Hartwell, even though I know I'm wrong. I'm going with Indy Hartwell, even though I know I'm wrong. Period. Moose versus Leon Slater. I told y'all before on the Clash, and I'm telling y'all again right now, Moose is your forever X Division champion until Bound for Glory. Unless the show is called Bound for Glory, which it isn't, Moose is not losing that TNA X Division championship. Period. Dark State is a bootleg retribution, Emily says. I feel you on that. It's a halfway decent, but I think that 100% the system wins. So far I got the system defeating Dark State. I have Indy Hartwell defeating the one who shall remain nameless. I have Moose retaining the NXT. Look at me. I'm crossing over myself. The TNA X Division Championship. I have Mustafa Ali defeating Cedric Alexander. I like Cedric Alexander, but I think Mustafa's the bigger star. I love the dynamic that he has with Tasha Steelz. I think he comes out victorious. The Nemeths, Nick and Ryan, defending the TNA World Tag Team Championship against the Hardy Boys, against the Rascals, and against First Class. I said it on the Clash. I'm going to say it here. First Class deserves their moment. First Class, especially AJ Francis, deserves their moment. AJ Francis has come a long way from tripping over that top rope or falling over that top rope on SmackDown. He deserves to be a champion. Make sure you check him out. He deserves to be a champion 100%. Quick reminder, anybody wants to do a super chat, HUBWWeekly on Cash App. Got a couple of DMs today asking about super chat. That's how you can support the show. HUBWWeekly. It's located right here on screen for Cash App super chats. Masha Slamovich, a much talked about match, going to be defending the Knockout World Championship against NXT Women's Champion, who is also defending her title, JC Jane. Amlezi talked about it. Sir Quills talked about it. Cleasy talked about it. MJB in the Place to Be talked about it. I'm telling you right now, JC Jane is going to win this match. I don't care if Masha Slamovich is better. Obviously, Masha Slamovich is better. And my heart says Masha Slamovich wins. There is no way that WWE, as selfish as they have become, or actually I take that back, as selfish as they have continued to be, there's no way they're going to have the NXT champion lose to the TNA champion. You could book it right here and right now. JC Jane, still NXT Women's Champion, and the new TNA Knockouts World Champion. Trick Willie going up against I call him Sir Joe Hendry, and Mike Santana. Mike Santana should win. After Mike Santana, Joe Hendry should win. They won't. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Mike Santana should win. Joe Hendry should win after that, but they won't. I like that, but they won't. Trick Willie's going to win this match. And that's nothing against Trick Williams. Trick Williams is a fine athlete. I think he's a superstar. But him winning this match on TNA ground at Slamversary is ridiculous. But WWE is ridiculous, and that's why he's going to win this match. And that's the bottom line. And if AJ Styles comes in and cashes in his imaginary money in the bank, because that's what it's going to seem like, and pulls a WrestleMania 9, who knows? But that's my predictions. Make sure you tune in this Sunday night. Go right now to TNA on TrillerTV.com to order. Okay, guys? So listen, the main event. Now that we got that out the way, gave some love to TNA, much deserved. Here we go, guys. The storyline of all storylines that we don't know whether or not it's a storyline. I'm going to say it again. The storyline, that's a storyline, but we don't know if it's really a storyline. I'm talking about Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth freaking Rollins. Let's get into these last-minute chats about TNA before we get into the Seth Rollins conversation. Okay, guys? Matt Lopez says TNA needs to show they can keep. We talked about that before. Thanks. Zilla Fato. Okay, Clown says Zilla. Is there a tryout for WWE? That's a tryout for WWE. Yes, that's Zilla. answering the question about Zilla Fatu. MJB was asking, Zilla Fatu? Yep, it's definitely Zilla Fatu. Sir Quill, shout out to Quills. He says, Moose versus Leon Slater. Heart says Slater. Heart says Slater. Reality says Moose. Reality wins. I like that. I like that, Quills. Joe Compton says, Zilla has a match on August 1st against Bully Ray in New York. He called Busted Open and was talking his ish about Bully when he wasn't on the show. Thanks for the heads up on that. Zilla Fatu's been doing his thing. Emily Fishy said, I don't know if Cedric has signed a TNA deal, which is why I'm picking Ali. Smart move. First class should win, Emily says. I agree with you. Sir Crow says Ali versus Alexander. Ali wins over Alexander. We stand in agreement on that. Clown says, plug your merch too. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Go to threadless.com and you can check out threadless.com/HWWeekly and see if you like my stuff. This is my Prosperous Mindset shirt. You know, let me know if y'all like that, man. That's on sale. You know what I'm saying? We're doing big things, man. We're doing big things. I appreciate that, Clown. Thank you. Clown has bought some of my merch. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Emily is pleading that Masha, I should say, wins. I want that to happen too, but I don't think it's gonna. Sir Quill says Indy Hartwell versus that woman. I like that. That woman. The She Shu House should remain nameless. I feel you on that. That woman wins. She's not losing to Indy. You're probably right, Quills. You're probably right. Joe Compton, why are they unifying the titles to begin with? Because they're stupid, Joe. Because they're stupid. And because they want to continue to show the WWE's dominance over TNA. They want to show that NXT, their developmental, is dominant over TNA. That's why. That's why. They're stupid and they're selfish. MJB in the place, he says, I like Masha. I do too, but I don't think she's winning, my guy. Emily says, if WWE is serious about signing her, they would put the title on her to showcase on NXT. And if they can sign her, bring her up to the main roster. I hear you. I hear you. I mean, in a dream world, I guess you're right. Clown says, for the love of God, let Masha win. WWE wants her. It would be a good look, and she can show up with it in the GCW when GCW holds the finals of the world of the world tournament. That would be dope. I actually like that, Clown. That's good booking on your part. Emily says Santana should win, but he ain't. WWE selfishness. Facts on top of facts. Why are they unifying the women's titles to begin with? I don't know, Joe. I don't know. Here we go. Sir Quill says Masha versus JC. Real champ versus paper champ. Sadly, Jane defeats Slamovich, becoming a double champ, thus disgracing the two titles. I could not agree more, and I could not be more disgusted, my friend. Continuing on. Emily for Sheezy. Joe, it's a winner. Take all, not unifying. I hear that. He's giving Joe the information about the winner take all. Sir Quill says, Williams versus Henry versus Santana. Mike Santana should become the new TNA World Champion, but Trick will attain. Quills, we are on the same page, my brother. Joe Compton says, Seth was on the Rich Eisen show and said his knee was too swollen to get an MRI. They are waiting for the swelling to go down to get a proper MRI. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Boy, do I have some comments about that. Joe Compton goes on to say to Matt Lopez, same thing. One woman has both titles. That is my definition of unification. Clown says, sadly, that woman will probably end up with the NXT title as a backdoor to WWE. MJB says, if TNA or WWE picks up Nikki Blackheart, I swear, LOL. Quill says, four-way tag title match, give it to the first class as much as I like the Hardys and the Rascals. Let's give AJ Francis his rightful comeuppance. That's a fact, man. He deserves it. MJB in the place to be. Poor Rollins may have cut his career even shorter, but that's part of the territory. Here we go, man. Let's get into this, man. I was one of the people, notice I said was. I was one of the people that said that it was a real injury. I was very clear about my stance on it being a real injury. The thing that put me over the top was that I felt like LA Knight winning that match the way he won it was an indication that Seth was really hurt. Okay? It was made mention of just now by Clown, I believe it was. No, it was made mention by our friend Joe Compton. about how Seth was on the Rich Eisen show and he said that his knee was too swollen to get an MRI. Too swollen to get an MRI. I understand that an injury of that nature, being too swollen to get an MRI, is a thing. That is a thing. But that very comment, and good job by you, Joe Compton, by bringing that up. That very comment that Seth Rollins made is the reason I'm starting to think this is a work. Now, bear with me. Just bear with me. Seth Rollins is currently the holder of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Paul Heyman said on Monday Night Raw that he is still Mr. Money in the Bank and that he has every intention of cashing in the Money in the Bank and that he can hold that Money in the Bank all the way until next June. All of that is true. All of that is true. Also, let me ask you guys a question. Whenever somebody gets hurt, like legitimately hurt, now I'm not saying that I'm going back on what I said that Seth Rollins is legitimately hurt. He may be legitimately hurt. I still am 60-40 that he's legitimately hurt. But my question to you guys is, as bad, as terrible as Triple H has been in booking professional wrestling, terrible. Imagine that Triple H made the decision to have Seth Rollins fake a knee injury. Not only fake a knee injury, lose a match in a way that seemed as if it was on the spot rebooking due to that injury. And at the same time, take him off of television for a month or 3 weeks. And then have him completely sell the fact that he is hurt by going on the talk show and podcast circuit and then at SummerSlam, when CM Punk becomes the new World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins actually overtakes his own greatest Money in the Bank cash-in of all time, which is WrestleMania 31, cashes in on CM Punk and becomes the new champion and shocks the world. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. He could, by all rights, be completely injured. Joe Compton seems to think so. Joe Compton seems to think so. M. Leezy seems to think so. But you just imagine if Seth Rollins does that. Now, I'm going to tell you why this imaginary scenario is not going to happen. And there's only one reason why I'm going to say it's not going to happen. Because Triple H ain't that smart. I don't give Triple H enough credit to come up with that kind of scenario. I don't give Triple H enough creative respect to come up with that kind of scenario? How in the world would I think that something like what I just mapped out, which low-key sounds genius, how in the world would I think that Triple H could come up with something like that? So probably Seth Rollins is injured, and probably Seth Rollins will be out for a number of months, because there ain't no way that Triple H is that good where he would come up with something like that. That's the reason why I don't think it's going to happen. I just wanted to throw out there that possibility, y'all. I still think Seth is hurt. I still think Seth will be out for a while. But I am just saying that would be pretty freaking dope if this was all a work. I don't think it is. But I'm just saying, imagine if it was. Joe Compton says, look at the way Seth's knee buckled. His knee buckled the same way in 2015 when he got it. I hear you. He might be hurt. I said he probably is. 60-40. Joel, what's up? Joel be in the building. Welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you. Sir Quill says if WWE would have done the right thing by having LA Knight win the Money in the Bank briefcase and not counter-program AEW by oversaturating shows, Seth's injuries may not have occurred. But of course, that's a good idea, and you know what that means. Yo, Quills, you're the man, my brother. I appreciate you. Clown says, all part of the show in parentheses, in air quotes. Joe Compton says, why take one of your top heels off TV with a bogus knee injury? When he comes back, he is going to be a babyface. Don't make a lick of sense. He's 100%, 110%. Okay, Joe, I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm just saying, what if? That's what I'm saying. I think he's injured. I'm just saying. Oh, and wait, let me correct you on one thing, though, Joe. You made a good point, but at the end, I don't agree with that. He's going to be a babyface if he came back, not if he cashes in on CM Punk. So that's a different conversation. But I hear you. You think he's hurt? I think he's hurt. But something's telling me, something's just telling me can't get the MRI, and he still missed the Money in the Bank, and you know he has on a knee brace backstage to support his wife, but can't get the MRI. I'm just saying. Emily Fashizi says if this Seth Rollins knee injury and how real it looked and turned out to be an angle to steal CM Punk's world title moment, it would be devious and genius. That's what I'm saying. If this is really like a work, I know Joe thinks it would be like him coming back as a babyface. No, not if he beats CM Punk. If he beat Gunther, he'd be coming back as a babyface, and that would make no sense. But if he beat CM Punk, if he took CM Punk's moment away, that's heel 101. Clown said when Sandman got a cigarette to the eye in ECW around town, he always used a blindfold. Kayfabe is alive. I think so. I just have like I said, 60-40. 60-40. I think he's injured, but before it was like 80-20. Now it's like 60-40. MJB says, you know who else was kayfabe hurt? Cowboy Bob Orton. Yeah, we know that. He kept on that cast for years. Emily said, exactly. It would be Sandman faking behind the blind greatness, but this is WWE. There's no shot they could think of. Exactly. That's my thing. Triple H ain't that good. That's the reason why people like Joe Compton is probably right, because Triple H ain't that good. Joe Compton says, Seth just started this faction. Why would he so abruptly, quickly? It makes zero sense. You keep telling yourself that, Joe. We're happy to have you here on HUBBanomics and Clash of the Podcast, bro. If it happens, just make sure you come back and holler at us. Clown says, Triple H, best friend, came up with the same storyline, just copying what Nash did in WCW. Touche. Or John Cena. Okay. Quill says, what you just said, Hub, just shows further why you should be creative director running the show. That what you suggested with Rollins cashing on Punk due to indefinite hatred would be theater. I appreciate that, man. I like to think I know what I'm doing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, my brother. Well, let me know, man. Let's just put it in the chat to end this chat because we got to get to SmackDown and stuff like that. Make sure you order Slamversary on TrillerTV.com. Before we go, I want everybody to just say yes or no, man. Is Seth Rollins, you know what? Not just a yes or no. I want from everybody. Is Seth Rollins' injury legitimate? Yes or no? And how confident you are? I'm 60. He's hurt. 40. It's a work. So you tell me. I need yes or no if he's hurt, and I need a percentage. Yes or no. I'm gonna say he's hurt, but I'm gonna say 60-40. Because I got a really weird feeling about this one. Okay, Joe Compton is sticking to his guns. I respect it. He says he's hurt 110%. Joe Compton is 110% sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Seth Rollins is not hurt. I respect it. Or Seth Rollins, I should say, is hurt. Sir Quill says, notice I said theater and not cinema. I did notice that, my brother. I did notice that. Choice of words was epic, brother. Vernacular was monumental, my brother. MJB says, yes, he's hurt, but only because of his return in 2016. Okay, I respect it. Clown says, I hope he's okay, and it's a story. I can't bet on an injury. You know what? Fair enough. Just for your respect of Seth Rollins, I have the same respect. It's like it would be better if he wasn't hurt, right? So I agree with you on that 100%, man. I'm just gonna say 60-40. 60-40. I think he's hurt, but I think it's like, there might be a small chance that something's up, guys. But listen, make sure you check out Clash of the Podcast each and every Monday night, 6:05 Eastern Standard Time. Myself and Conrad, man, make sure you're locked in. I appreciate you guys being here for HUBBanomics. Do me a favor, hit me on social media, man. Let me know what your next subject you think should be for HUBBanomics, man. I like to come up with good stuff, kind of stuff for the day, but also like old school stuff, new stuff that is kind of like in a different organization. Let me know what you think, man. I'm down for any and all ideas. I appreciate you guys being here, man. Sir Quill says as far as the injury, yes, but I'm going to say like Malik Gilbert and Tyler Perry, and Why Did I Get Married? 80-20. I like it, Quills. And I like that reference too, 80-20. And anybody doesn't know what Quills is talking about, let me put you on. For those of you guys in relationships, I can only come from a perspective of a man who's with a woman. So the perspective that Quills is talking about is from a movie, Why Did I Get Married? And the logic is when you're with a woman, the woman is you're in good shape if you're with a woman that can please you and take care of you in all ways, emotionally, physically, romantically, 80% of the time. 80% of the time. There's always going to be 20% of the time where she gets on your nerves, where she's not doing everything you want her to do. 80-20. So 80-20 is the best you can do. Now, if you stick with the 80, you're probably going to end up being a happy guy. If you go looking for the 20, you may only end up with 20 and you will end up miserable. So think about that. Yo, Easy E, appreciate you, man. Thank you for that comment about liking the video, man. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Quills with the science and the knowledge. All that being said, I'm going to let you guys go enjoy your Friday night, man. We appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much. Clown talking from experience. 15 years in October, happily married. That's that 80-20 in full effect, my brother. Congratulations, man. That's fantastic. Listen, this is HUBBanomics. This is Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. If you haven't subscribed, why haven't you? Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you check out the merch. Do whatever you got to do. All I care about is y'all being here, and y'all show up in groves, man. I appreciate y'all. Clown, Quills, Easy E, M. Leezy for Sheezy. I think I said Sir Quills already. Most definitely. MJB in the place to be. Joe Compton was in here. I appreciate you, man. Thank y'all so much. Joel was in here. I thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate Jocelyn for being here. Thank you. We appreciate the love as always. I appreciate the love 100%. So once again, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you on Monday for Clash of the Podcast. Enjoy SmackDown. Enjoy Slamversary on Triller TV. And until the next time, my name is Sean Hubbard. God bless. Be encouraged. Evil never prevails. Later.